Okay, so I'm going to make sure it's recording. I have been talking for an hour and a half with a 15-minute break, and I am now saying it's being recorded. I apologize for that. We went over chapter 3 until 1:45, and for the last half hour, I've been talking about chapter 4. So thank you, everybody who is just listening. All right. Okay, are we still screen sharing? Let me make sure on that. Yeah. All right. I apologize. I'll be in trouble. All righty. So now, as you see, I'm nervous. I'm running through these slides. All right. So this is passive stimulated action. You're passive. You look at clouds. All these are passive. You're just looking at these. The people are watching the trophy. This is all. This kids are playing soccer. There's somebody watching TV. So you're just watching. That's passive. But when you actually are playing, you have a picture of it, then you're playing and it can stimulate action. Your experience lens, all right? If I was to ask you, what is happening in this picture? Now you're experiencing it. You're just not looking at it like it's two people that are thinking. You might say, well, they have a baby napping. Maybe their baby is hurt. You're investigating it. You're looking at problems now. That is through your lens, right? I would say something different, okay? This is a mind test question. To be effective critical thinking, you must be aware of the lens through what you see. So somebody is looking at this as dinner and this duck, and the other guy is looking at this as research. So it's your perspective, what you're looking through the lens. If you have prior knowledge on something or no knowledge, does a builder, that affects your perception. If you have prior knowledge on mask wearing, such as I was in a med tech position where I would go into a hospital, many of you are nurses and healthcare workers, you have to go into a room, you know what the mask is doing. Some of you do not have any of it, so then you have no knowledge, you may not know what the mask can do and not do. A builder examining the construction of a new house has a different perspective than the owner. If you're talking about the building, there is a book that was called The House that was written from 3 different perspectives: the builder, the architect, and the owner. And it will really give you an idea of how each one of those, prior knowledge, no knowledge, will give you information and have a different perspective. A music lover attending a concert compared to somebody that doesn't even play an instrument. Quite different. Now, I went to an a cappella concert. I had no idea what a cappella even was, that word. It was when people sing without any instruments, like a choir singing a cappella, no instrument. It is beautiful. Before I went, I did not think it was going to be very good. A cook tasting a dish just prepared. Well, they should have some prior knowledge to it compared to a dish that's just sent in front of you, not one off the menu, but you go to somebody's house and they didn't tell you what you're going to eat and they just send a person there. A lawyer examining a contract, well, of course, they have a lot of experience with the contract compared to me. I have no experience. I do have experience now, but when I was younger. And an art lover visiting a museum. Well, it depends. But they're visiting an art museum, a little bit different than visiting a history museum, but they still would have a different eye than me because I'm not an art lover. But I can, if I was a history buff, I'd have a lot different view than the art lover. So you can see, here are some great examples. Some other factors, demographics, your age, um, definitely right now with the protesters and non-protesters, age matters, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, geographic location, that all matters. Taste in fashion, music, leisure, and activities. Um, Fashion is, depends. You look at these things with age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, geographic location, a lot different. People in the Alps may not dress like people here in Arizona. Coming from Illinois and coming in January, I couldn't believe that not everybody was wearing shorts. Sometimes you have special knowledge or expert knowledge. Sometimes you may have special knowledge will mean like if you have experiences with it. Let's say you're trying to pick out a dog species or not species, a dog breed. You might have special knowledge because you had a dog that breed as a child, or you had a Labrador and now you're looking at a Labrador, a Labradoodle. You might have a certain talent. So the art person, the music person would look at that expertise. I've studied stress as postdoctorate, so I have I don't call myself an expert yet, but I am well aware. Significant experiences in your life, either positive or negative. Um, this to me is with a lot going on with the police. You have significant experiences in your life with police officers, or are they positive or negative? Values, goals, and aspirations, your religion. You have a value of wanting to have a huge, living with a lot of land compared to somebody not living with a lot of land in the city, wanting to get to your destination right away, want the grocery store, just want to live above a grocery store. Quite different. All right. Um, Here is a different view. So this view, if you look, these buildings look really smaller here, and I think they're the same size from what I remember with this one. Um, and then here's the moon. If you look at the moon, it looks like it's huge, but the moon is the same size. It never changes. And that's a really good one to compare perspectives. Look at the moon when it first rises compared to when it's up in the sky. Which is safer, a car or the plane? Actually, it happens to be the plane. This one is really good, and you've probably, this happened years when your parents or even probably your grandparents were kids in 1930s, I believe, or in the 50s, 20 years, different perspective. If you got the radio show that came right in the middle of a radio announcer talking about how we were being invaded by aliens, and you didn't hear the beginning paragraph, you might have thought, and people did, they were panicking that we were being invaded by aliens. And this is just different if you've been to a movie. Here's one. It looks like an alien spacecraft, but actually I forgot what this was. I think it was photoshopped, but it would help perspectives. Our minds are not like blank sheets of paper or recording devices. They're more like cameras and video recorders, as imperialistics claim. Instead, our brains construct because we're not blank, we're not like, it's really hard for any one of us to be non-judgmental. So that's our brains construct a picture of the world, much like an artist does, and we filter our perspective through our perceptions, and we fill in the missing information based on our expectations, our experiences, and occurrence, such as the War of Worlds. So if we see the world, it goes through our subconscious, and then it comes up through our conscious mind. And we are constantly evaluating every situation. We, as humans, we can't get away from it. This is more on output and input, and I just wanted to show you where left brains, right brains, right here is where the left brain and the right brain had motor cortex and sensory cortex right next to it. So I see how close they are. You saw up here is arms, and then they're down here, and anyway, they're pretty interesting. So the output, they can tell, right now they can tell where language is being held, where your thoughts are, where emotions are. Back in 2002, my husband from the lung cancer went to his brain, and he had two parts of his brain had tumors. One was the compassion and one was pain, and they were close together. So it was kind of like one section of his brain. So he couldn't feel pain, and he wasn't very compassionate. All right, roots of violence. They're saying now, do you find any of these disturbing? Here is a kid going forward, kid playing a video game, very young. Or what about this one? Bring to front. Older people doing virtual reality. Do you believe they are the roots of violence or not? All depends on what you believe. There we go. We're going to put these back. Should we have, now this is like just for a discussion. If you're in my classroom, I would have you discussing this right now to each other. Now, do you think that all video games are harmless, or do you think some should be weighted? We have different views on this in this classroom, I bet. Some people say it's okay for young kids to do violent games, and some say no. If you're in a position to dictate public policy on video games for children, would it be different than if you're a parent? Okay, what about movie ratings? How do you view movie ratings? Those are different perspectives. So there's a lot of things in here that we could talk about, different perspectives. Of course, the news is one, but we're not going to go with that. So there are some different routes of happiness. So decorating a cupcake may bring you happiness. Here's people playing video games. This is another video game. And here, so video games, you can't just outrule them if they're not violent, can you? Because these are good. What was your first impression of Brookline? Think about that for a minute. What was your first impression of Brookline in the situation? What was your experience of the people that were involved? Had you gone to any other colleges? Maybe one of the community college, maybe a private college, maybe no college. What were some of the influences that helped you shape your what are your previous experiences, and then what helped shape your perspectives? So if somebody is sitting there at the Phoenix campus, we have Susan Baker, that is the first person. She's very kind and usually very happy. I've never seen her in a bad mood, but what if she was really angry? Would you want to go to Brookline? Okay. Teachers, I'm hoping I'm doing good into that. You want to stay at Brookline? What about if you had two friends, one friend that loved Brookline and one that was like, oh no. So what about actions you took or thoughts you took to then enrolling at Brookline? What were your actions that you had to do? So as you're becoming involved in the situation, which means that you're becoming enrolled here at Brookline, did you have really good experiences after that, answering questions? Did people answer your questions that you had? Is it you like with work? Oh, good, we got some chat. Good. Okay, yes. Oh, okay, thank you. Just private ones. So that's okay. What ways did you view the situation can be better? Can you improve Brookline? Can you improve my lectures? I really hope you can. I'd like to be more interactive. How can I force that on you? Because I don't like forcing things. I'm not one to say you have to. Maybe I should. So, what do you think? And then, if you told me how I could be better and I revised the perception of forcing you to act in chat, would you like it? Would you not like it? Would you perceive my lectures as being more interesting or not? Would you perceive Brookline as being a better school or not? These are some questions that we go. What about wearing a mask? If you had somebody that died of COVID, would you be more apt to wear a mask or not? I took a sip of water again. Perceiving, believing, and believing and perceiving. So we perceive something, then we can believe in it. And if we believe in something, we're going to perceive it in a different fashion. So when we critically think about perceptions, we form beliefs and construct knowledge of the world. Our beliefs include interpretations, evaluations, conclusions, and predictions. Our predictions, conclusions, evaluations, interpretations include our beliefs and may change our beliefs and what they are. Perceptions form beliefs around the world, and beliefs shape and influence our perceptions of it. I feel like doing a rap. I like rap music and I like hip hop because they rhyme and they have a good beat. So if you can beat, put this in the good form of a song, perception and believing, you wouldn't have to do the mind taps. I think that would be phenomenal. But I'm getting kind of crazy because I'm talking for a long time. All right. Interpretations. What are interpretations? Interpretations are people have a different point of view. Poetry enables human to communicate deep, complex emotions and ideas that resist simple explanations. I have a video on this. I don't know if we have time to show it, but I think some poetry does and some poetry doesn't. Depends. I have to like the poetry. Okay, so interpretation is looking views. Poetry is supposed to bring out emotions, and I'll look that up and post something in the announcements for you. Evaluations. We're judging. We're being biased. We're saying if it's good or bad and valuing it. Okay, children today spend too much time on the internet and too little time reading books. It's an evaluation. A conclusion is coming to a summary, and hopefully we come to these conclusion with our interpretations that did not have, that evaluated correctly without a bias and without poor judgments, which is different than evaluating. And predicting. We can predict, but we usually predict with a bias. So we have to try to predict without the bias, with the shrinkage and integration of global community the future of America will speak a different language. You might have a different language in 100 years from now when we do from 100 years ago. Remember they used the word thou. You look in the Bible, thee, thou. We are changing. We always are evolving. All right, a theory of mind. We need to understand others in the social world. We need to understand their intents, their emotions, their knowledge, and beliefs. There are 4 things to the theory of the mind: intention, emotion, knowledge, and belief. Let's wrap it. Intentions, emotions, knowledge, and beliefs. Intentions, emotion. Oh gosh, I'm getting silly. All right. Sorry about that. It is just water. You can check it. I have my bottles here. Here's my Arrowhead bottle. And here is my other Arrowhead sparkling water. It's just because I'm tired. And nobody's responding, so I'm getting kind of crazy. All righty. Okay. Types of beliefs. You believe this? There are different types of beliefs. We have reporting factual information that makes we describe things that can be Verified through investigations. That's a report. The accident happened and it was somebody's fault. We infer conclusions. That happens when you go beyond the factual information. And somebody in chat, I won't answer that. All righty. We're all honest here. That's true. We are all honest. I believe 99% of the people in my life are honest. People have judged me as with my hair color blonde, that's a blonde thing. I think that's a biased statement. I trust people. I happen to love people, and why would somebody want to steer me wrong? But you're right. Thank you for saying that. Okay, we infer, we come to conclusions that happen because we went beyond the factual information to the state which is not currently known. We infer something whose fault the accident was. We infer that wearing masks will harm. We infer not wearing masks will harm others. We judge in describing the world to express your evaluation based on certain criteria. All righty. Analyzing false perceptions. This is what we need right now. Describe an experience of a perception that you later turned out to be false. We're not going to talk about the current information right now. Let's see, I'm trying to think of one. I had one here written, but I don't have it in my notes, so. What qualities of perception let you go to believe it was true? Well, your values affect this. If you liked a person, if you didn't like it, if you had a bias. How do perception influence your beliefs around the world? Well, they emotionally make you either enjoy the world or not enjoy the world, basically. Does your process lead you to conclude that the perception is right? And if you go through the problem-solving steps that we just talked about, your perceptions can be based on almost all facts, but perception, unless they're based on facts, we can't conclude that it's right or wrong. We know that. All right. We see the world not as it is, but how we are. So it's saying that your reality is what your thoughts. All right, reporting factual information. Factual statements express the most accurate belief around the world because factual beliefs are verifiable 99.9% of the time. They are the law, scientific laws. Energy in action is a scientific law. As we know, religion isn't 100%. What is another belief? Color. If you go on the hues of colors, people will say, well, that red is a cranberry red, or that is a fire red, or that red is an apple red. They're all different reds. You communicate factual information by reports, description of the experience that are accurate and complete as possible. Increase the knowledge and understanding can show, what can it show? Factual beliefs to be inaccurate. Okay, so we're finding out that some of the research on COVID, how it is transmitted, some is factual. Now they're saying it isn't factual, then it will. Another thing is like eggs were good for you, eggs cause heart attacks, eggs are now good for you. So there's different information. And I'm getting a lot of texts from my other classes. I sent out grades. So that's a factual information. I'm getting a ton of texts. I did send out grades at my other classes this morning, and they're responding. All right. So factual beliefs can be based on better beliefs that explain the world more accurately and predictability. How hard is it right now to predict how COVID is going to act? Are we going to have a third wave? Did we have a second wave? What countries are? So people put a lot of money into this, and it's so interesting how we can look at it today. And just the facts are always just ahead of us. And here's one of my jokes that I needed. Cousins, my cousin, look at you, how beautiful I am. And we all think the Christmas trees, if you are of the Christian religion, are beautiful. This one says, don't needle me, which I love that play on words. Cousin, besides, look how not cut down I am. See? Isn't that funny? And this is pretty beautiful. Trees outside are beautiful too. So it's just the way you look at it. 10 fun facts. Read this, take a minute for reading it. Okay? You can't wash your eyes with soap. You can't count your hair. Those fun facts. You can't breathe through your nose with your tongue out. You just tried number 3. When did you know, number 3, realize it was possible? Only when you looked like a dog. You're smiling right now because you think you're fooled. You skipped number 5 because there was no number 5. You check to see if there was a number 5. Did you see how I did that? Share this with your friends to have some fun too. Isn't that good? All in perception. All right. Here are the penguins. So guess what? The penguins are marching. That means that there is a test question here. Yeah. Yeah, I actually did that too. And this is one, going back to this other slide. Thank you for that, Mackenzie. Makes me feel like I'm really teaching when you respond. So if you can, this is in the in our Brookline Moodle. You can take the slide and maybe copy it and send it around to an email or a text and see what you get. Do this with your kids because I'm sorry, do it with your children. They will laugh and have fun. All righty, here we go. Beliefs differ in respect besides accuracy, okay? I will always say my beliefs are accurate compared to anybody else's. Nah, I'm not like that, but I know a lot of people that are not flexible and they believe their belief. Review the following beliefs and then describe some of their differences. See, I would have you share. I'm taking another more water because you know I've been talking for almost 2 hours. Okay, I believe that I have here on my head. Is that fact or opinion? Belief? Yeah, we can prove that. I believe the sun will rise tomorrow. I believe that is a fact, except right now, if you are in the fires in California, might not see the sun tomorrow, but it's still a fact it's going to rise. I believe that there is some form of life after death. I believe it, but I sure cannot prove it. I believe that dancing is more fun than jogging and that jogging is preferred to going to the dentist. If anyone disagrees with my belief that dancing is more fun than jogging and jogging is more preferable to go to the dentist, if you guys don't put in chat right now, yes. Oh, we get to have a break soon. So this is we get one more. Put in chat what you believe is the best. Dancing, jogging, and dentist. If you believe going to the dentist is the most fun, put that down in the chat. When you come back, get an F. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. You don't believe I would do that, do you? I believe that you should always act towards others the way you should like them to act towards you. I truly believe in that statement. I try to act the way that I would like other people to act like So with that, we need a break. What was I thinking? So I'll see you at 2:43, 2:45. Okay, so go on break. Have a great time. I'm going to stop the recording. Somebody please remind me to record and stop the video. Okay, what am I going to do here? I just stopped sharing, stop video. Okay, we are recording again, and I am back 2 minutes late. Sorry about that. I am going to close my room door so that the people in the house won't disturb us. Okay. Wow, we got 17 people back. Excellent day. Excellent. I'm sorry. I'm talking. All right. Here's my perspective on things. I rent my house, and I have a big, huge tree in my front yard. And last year I had owls, 5 baby owls, 2 parents. This is a sidebar. You know that owls need 6 mice a day, baby ones, to live. So you have 7 people in that, 7 owls in that family. They were big owls. That's what, 35, 42 mice a day they had to find for the family. But anyway, about back to the tree. The tree, according to my HOA, since I'm not there and I rent it, I don't see it, said that the big tree needed trimming because we did not trim it last year because of the owls, and it was going into the street. So I drove my car by the house and saw, I didn't know whether I text my landscaper, not my landscaper, a landscaper, a tree trimmer, to do it. And he never replied back except for, I'll do it. That's all he said. But so that was Labor Day weekend. So this weekend I went by it and I thought, hey, is it trimmed or isn't it trimmed? He said he'll do it, and he's a very relaxed person. So I didn't quite know whether he did or didn't. So I just sent him a text message and saying if he did, I'll pay him. If he didn't, I'll still pay him, but do more, because I couldn't tell. So my perspective, if he didn't do it, now this is why I'm telling you, might be all confusing, but they took a picture of my tree, and what I couldn't tell from that picture if it was needed to trim because cars or trucks would be hitting it if they were going by the street or not. And so when I went and looked at it, because I had not seen it for a couple months, so I don't really know, their perspective is it needed cut. My perspective was, well, I could wait a few more months. Anyway, that might cost me some money there. There was a lot of people in chat. Going to check the chat out again. I think I need to screen share. Let's see. Back to the meeting. We have 20 in chat, so that's good. Oh, good. We have good. A lot of people here. Excellent. I call it excelente. I don't know why. But now let's review. We did problem solving, chapter 3 in the beginning. The first hour, we are now on the second hour. I think I need to share my screen. Nope, we're still there. This hour, we're looking at perceptions and believing. And my perception is I have a fan on in the room and I'm a little cold. I'm going to go get a blanket. Okay, so I now have my blanket and I am good. Somebody just entered the room and I'm returning to the meeting. And okay. All righty. So we know that perspectives, we have to look on the facts. We can speculate and we can judge, but we need details. Don't want to do any of those. Oh, here's another joke. Okay, it's proven fact now. And this guy is saying climate change, science. I don't believe in facts, says the other guy. Facts are facts, not a belief. That's your opinion. It is not an opinion, it's a fact. From your side, there are no sides, just facts. But I don't think so. Just because you don't think it's a fact doesn't mean it's not a fact. Well, I have my suspicions. So this guy is, the scientist is going, og. Now, I think it's kind of funny. What is wrong with this perception of the cartoon? This actually is an old man, and he looks like a scientist because he looks like he is wearing a lab coat with his name on it. So the perception that you can get from just this cartoon is this is an old man, has a mustache, and he's has balding, so he's pretty old, and he could be somebody like Einstein impersonator. And this is a kid or a younger person, and he's wearing a baseball cap, and his arms are folded, and he never relieves, so he's looks like he's tense. A lot going on in this picture that you can get perception from, which I think is kind of fun to do. And somebody else went into chat, so I'm going to check the chat one more time. And good, everybody is back. Okay. Now, we have one more cartoon to go through. Let's see if I can get it done. Okay, come on, there we go. I'm going to take, I went to coffee. I usually don't like to drink coffee this late. That's an opinion, and because I might stay up, wake up more because of the caffeine. So anyway, I'm going to drink my coffee because I don't know if it's a fact or is it opinion. I believe the caffeine will work to keep me up so I can talk to you and give you the best 3 hours of today. Hold on, I'm going to do a sip. Okay, this is Dilbert, and I happen to like Dilbert a lot. Studies show that people who exercise are healthier. And this guy says that's because people who are in poor health don't exercise. Why does it seem that you are ruining every meeting? It is because I only attend the ones that are stupid. So these are both, I think, is pretty funny. And what he's saying here is if how do you know that some people that don't exercise are in good health here? And he's saying that all meetings are stupid. I like the cartoon. Okay, here we go again. In this section of your book here, we'll be thinking critically about the 3 basic types of beliefs that you use to make sense of the world. And again, we can say the same thing: facts, reports, inferences, judgments. And this is a review on the way. These beliefs are expressed in both your thinking and your language and illustrated in the following sentences. My bus was late today. My, that's giving ownership. Late today, that doesn't say yesterday or today. That could be a fact. But depending on, it doesn't say what time. My bus will probably be late tomorrow. That's a type of belief. Okay, so this is fact reporting. This is inferring. You're predicting into the future. That's an inferation. I just made that word up. You can look that word up, whether that's fact or opinion, if I made up the word. Okay, inferring, and the bus system is unreliable. That is sure a judgment. And with that, don't believe anything. Don't judge any of the stuff that is happening today unless you have many, 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 many facts and not just reports. Don't interfere. I mean, predict. Another sip of coffee. I should explain to you the color of my coffee. It's lighter than milk chocolate. It's probably tan. It's probably as dark as this. And that's because I don't really like coffee. I like the caffeine. And I put a lot of milk in my coffee, which I believe gives me more calcium. But because you are all healthcare workers, you may know that caffeine inhibits calcium from being absorbed, either look this up, from my intestines into the bloodstream, or from the bloodstream into the bone. I know it's one of those, but so drinking that milk doesn't really count as my calcium intake, because I have osteoporosis and I might do that. So, okay, let's go. As you see, I'm starting to talk nonsense, and I hope you don't mind. Now we have 5 minutes left. We have 76 slides, so we have 30 more. I'll try to go through it in the next 25 minutes, 35 minutes, 34. That's a fact, because it's 2:56. Do you have to stay until I'm done, till 3:30? It is my opinion, not the opinion of Brookline, not the opinion of my director or the accreditation board. It is my opinion that in 3.5 minutes, whoever wants to leave can quietly leave. No, you better put in when you leave, make sure you put it in the chat, because just in case. But anyway, you can leave, you get attendance, you get your points, okay? But I can't say what'll happen. All right, with all that being said, you now have, oh, somebody's leaving right now because I got a chat on that one. Thank you. Oh, well, you're welcome. I can, you know how I said I believe in walking in other people's shoes, and if I was a student and listening to me talk as a student, I'm not sure if I could sit through 3 straight hours of it. So here you go. Okay, inferential beliefs are going beyond what you can directly observe. We already said that. Your complete picture of the world is in predictions mostly. Oh, yeah, thank you for thanking me for giving you an option. Yeah, you always will have an option with me. So, your complete picture of the world includes predictions of what will happen in the future. How many of you are predicting when the COVID is going to end, when we're going to get the virus, when we can take off the mask? Are we going to always wear masks? Will it become part of everybody's outfits, matching masks with that? Will we be judging people in the future? Will we get COVID again? Boy, we're doing a lot of predictions right now. Who will win the election? Oh my gosh, that's even another one. When will the fires stop? I get tired. I need the caffeine. Okay, I'm getting kind of nuts. Sorry. Okay, inferential beliefs are certain that are less certain than factual beliefs. So it is so important to distinguish between them. So I think that statement, and it's my opinion about this statement, that is a fact that it's a statement. But whether you didn't know that, I hardly doubt. I bet you every one of you thought that inferential beliefs are not factual beliefs, right? So when you calculate the risks, you evaluate the certain and uncertainties of your inferences, which is also what I think every one of you believe. Nothing there. Okay. Test question. Test question. Are you inferring? Okay. Now, the thing here is your roommate has just come home and they pass a math exam, which they have done no studying, humming the song. I did it my way. She comes bouncing over to you with a huge grin on her face. Say, let me buy you dinner to celebrate. You conclude, how is she feeling? Okay, so you include she's happy. You're not including that she's sad. You're not including that she thinks that the world owes her an A. All right, in midnight, the library is about to close. You head to the door and you spy your roommate shuffling along in an awkward waddle, and his coat bulges out in front like he's pregnant. You ask, what's going on? And he gives you a glare and he says, shh. And he reaches the door and a pile of books fall out from under his coat and crashes through the floor. What do you conclude? Your roommate is stealing library books. I have to think that that is not the right answer. I am sorry. I happen to trust everybody in the world, and your roommate, it could have been, I went to college at Northern Illinois University, and if it was 70, it was at one time, the wind chill with the wind, because we're having a windstorm and a blizzard, it was like 40 below zero. He could have already checked out the books, put the books underneath his coat because he wanted to stay warm, his hands, and they just fell out. Never accuse anybody of cheating. All right, now here's another Mind Tap question. Although the conclusions are reasonable, they are not factual reports. They are inferences. So I got more in the chat here. But why would they say shh? They're in. That's funny. You're right. You caught me on that. It's because they're in a library. They always have to shh. Now, I'll tell you a secret of mine that not too many people know, but it was one. Remember when I went to school? I went to school was in 1971 is when I went to college. And I learned this procedure of how to study in the library, right? So all the librarians, there was like 5 or 6 floors in the university library. And what you were to do if you didn't have a date was open up your chemistry book and laugh. Pretend you're reading and laugh. So when I think of a college library, I think of that. So that's kind of a funny thing to think of. Is it inferring? It's an opinion? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, probably. Oh, on the way out. Yeah, I feel like most people are full of it until they can be trusted. That's a good way to be in life, is to not trust people. And I've been burned, but I don't know if it's basic, if it's epigenetic, if it's genetic, but or maybe it's because I think I want to be trusted, so I always trust other people. I have no reason why I trust the world. All right. Have you ever pretended to be happy when you weren't? I have. All right. There you go. Sometimes I'm not trustworthy, I guess. Yep. Okay, so have you ever been accused of stealing something and you were perfectly innocent? I don't know if I've ever been accused of stealing, so maybe a cookie from the cookie jar. Yeah. I know what I did to my son when he was 4. He still remembers it, and it still hurts him. He was 39. He was 4 years old, and we were in Michael's. They did have Michael's way back in 39 years ago. And he was picking up the flowers that got some, that were on the floor that weren't the silk flowers that were just loose and not connected to whatever you would buy. And so he was collecting pretty many of them. And when we got out the door, I saw that he had stuffed them in his pocket. So I told him he had to go to the manager, and he always accused me that he was not stealing them. I don't know. He thought they were garbage or whatever. I don't know. So anyway, from these examples, can you see where factual beliefs can be principled, but verified from direct observation, inferential beliefs that go beyond what you can directly believe? And so that's what that is saying. So thank you for talking in the chat. I loved it. All right, we're going to quickly go through the rest of these because we have 25 minutes I'm going to record. Here's an observation. This one is fun. So let's see, I can't get it too big. There we go. Let's see if you guys can see this. What's going on here? Put it in the chat if you want. What's going on here? What's this dog doing? What's this cat doing? What can you observe that's a fact? What can you infer that's not fact? I'm trying to drink the caffeine quickly so I can get something there. Right. He's trying to lure the cat into the dryer. Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's really good. That's an inference. He's hiding behind the wash machine is a fact. Oh, please, oh, please. The cat is checking for mice is a inference. It's not on. I don't know if that's inference. This door is open is a fact. This door is open. Cat FUD. I don't know what FUD means. Cat FUD. The name of the cat? I don't know. Cat FUD. So with all these things pointing to cat FUD, I think that's the name of the cat, but that's only an inference, isn't it? So I can't name 5. Here's another one. This one is from Family Circle, which I think is a good cartoon. It's a dish towel. Mommy told me you would like to have this. Now the mom is telling the kid to go do that. Sorry, the child, go do that to the dad to get the dad to help with the dishes. Think it's going to work? Yeah, mom does want dad to help with the dishes. She's inferring that this will work if she sends the child, and that if she said, now this is all my inferences, if she said, honey, help me with the dishes, he might have said no. So she sends the child. Okay. Positive right inference. Describe an experience in which you made an incorrect inference that resulted in a serious consequence. For example, it might have been in a situation where you mistakenly accused someone and you were in an accident because of the miscalculation or made a poor decision based on the incorrect prediction. Analyze that experience by answering the following questions. See, remember, if you're on ground, we would be talking. What were your mistakes in the inference, and what was the factual evidence based on your inferences? One that is not hurting anybody was when we came first to Arizona in 1987 with my kids, I inferred that it was going to be 100 degrees in March. The last week of March, it would be above 90. We went to, so I packed, I'm the mom. I packed and I didn't pack any winter clothes. And we went to the Grand Canyon and I inferred it was going to be warm. It wasn't. It was 13 degrees. There was snow. We didn't really enjoy the Grand Canyon. So that's one. Think of one that you did. One more sip of, sorry, I'm drinking in front of you. You know, if we ever meet on ground, I owe everyone a cup of coffee. All right, 13 degrees. Yeah, it did suck. And it was like, they're having a cold wave here in Phoenix. We did end up liking Phoenix and did end up moving in 96. So my parents came down every year. They were snowbirds. All right. And we only went once. Risk. Placing your hand in a closed elevator door to reopen it. That is an inference that you can do it, right? It's an inference that you won't get hurt. Is it a fact that you're going to open it? Mm-mm. Taking an unknown drug at a party, that's inferring you're not going to be affected by it. It's inferring that you're going to live. It's inferring that the drug is safe. I don't know anybody never mind. We won't go to my opinion of that. Jumping out of a plane with a parachute on, that's a high risk. I know people who have enjoyed doing that. It's not one for me. Riding on the back of a motorcycle, you better have a hat on it. My son has a motorcycle. He loves it. I just saw a motorcycle with a sidecar, and in the sidecar was a dog. And he had the dog on a very short leash, so he couldn't jump. I thought that was very cute. So these are healthcare risks. Taking a drug prescribed by your dog by your by your doctor. So I guess we were supposed to evaluate if this is high or low. This is to me, a low risk. This is a very, very high risk. This is semi-high. This is semi-high, and this should be low. And you have to tell your pharmacist all the drugs you're taking. All right. Healthcare risks. There are none. Right here. No healthcare risks. Healthcare risks are every day where you wear a mask or you don't wear a mask. What are the healthcare risks? Because if you wear a mask, you might not get as much oxygen, might be carbon dioxide, or you might get COVID. There's a lot of healthcare risks there. Individual practice. In your notes, you guys aren't taking notes and we're not. Write down 2 observation and 2 inferences about the picture there. Okay. We can observe that Bart here is jumping. He might land on his dad is an inference. Let's see, we got somebody else in chat. Yay. Okay. Bart will land on Homer. Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, he will land on Homer. And will he notice? And what is he drinking? And she looks like she's got toothpaste right there, or the applesauce. She's going to dunk her. I like the Simpsons. When they first came out, 35 years ago, whatever it was, I thought they were bad. I now think they're good. All right. And I based it on influence. Here's statements. And here's all the answers if they're an inference or report. The bus will probably be on time tomorrow is inferring. There are 2 oak trees in my front yard. So we can go through that. We don't need to go through it. You will just jump all the way down to here. Here's a street scene that could have been coming out of today. It wasn't. It was in way back when. So we don't know what's happening. Judging. Don't judge people. Just don't. Make sure you have your facts. Then you critical thinking's approach different in judgment intelligently by using explicit, detailed, specific criteria and standards for the base. You can base whether like 7-Up or if they followed the rules of exactly what they had to put in the 7-Up. Whether you got a good grade, whether you answered the questions right or wrong. Establishing the reasons that justice reasons justify the criteria, and the reasons have to be very specific. Kim? All righty, let's move on. You cannot avoid making judgments, but you can become more conscious of the way you make them. This is critically important because once we judge someone or something, we tend to stop thinking. Now think about that. You stop thinking when you judge them. What's happening in the world today? We're judging and we stop thinking what is Listen to positive people and ignore negative ones. People that doubt, judge, and disrespect you are not worthy of your time and attention. This is a true statement here for me and for all of you. If somebody is disrespecting you, tell them to report to me. I will take care of them. Even though I'm an old woman, I will take care of them. Nobody is going to disrespect my students. All right. We do ourselves a great disservice when we let the bitterness of opinions of other mingle and subvert our own thoughts or ruin our own thoughts. And that's happening in the world today by a lot. I don't know what facts are right, what facts are wrong. I know there's a lot of bitter people in the world. All right, and this is just communicating towards each other. Here are other ones. I just kind of like these slides. Here's a green tree, fall, and then here comes all your thoughts are letting you blow away. You're using other people's thoughts. But that was good. Here's a perspective. Do you see a base or do you see 2 people's faces? And Here is another chat. Thank you for chatting. I love it. You saw both. Yeah, exactly. I can see both at the same time now too. I've seen this so many times that it is. These are all, remember, these are all discussion questions. This one is a discussion question. It's not even there. Here's some more mind tap, more mind tap, more mind tap, more mind tap. You see, I think I only got mind tap left. Here is a huge one. Is mind tap. What are the following reports of factual information? So do you notice how I checked them all? There is only 3 that are right. Okay. Okay, let's go down to these. These questions here are statements, and they're usually true and false. And this bottom one here, I don't agree, but I want you to get it right. We are all passively receiving our perceptions of the world similar to a camera or a tape recorder. That's passive. We are not cameras and we are not tape recorders. Why? Because we can judge. We think. We evaluate. We infer and we evaluate. That's why we're not tape recorders. Your perceptions of the world are dramatically influenced by your past experiences. And that's so true. Just like somebody just said, it's about an upbringing. Factual reports do not represent interpretation, evaluation, conclusion, or prediction about the nature of world. Okay? In theory, facts and inferences can distinguish, but in practice, it's almost impossible to communicate with others by sticking only to the factual observation. And in theory, it is hard to stick to only the facts. There was, got what it was called, and he would always say, just the facts, ma'am. People, and the news is, you know, really a fact almost that they don't stick to factual observations anymore. Your total collection of beliefs represents your view of the world and your philosophy of life. This is supposed to be a true statement, and I don't agree. I can believe the world, just like we said, I could trust everybody. That's how I look at the world, but that doesn't mean it is my philosophy of life. Okay. So that's that. Here's more. The credibility of a judgment depends on the criteria used to make the judgment true. What and the evidence or reason that support the criteria. Say, this is such bad wording, I can't even say it. That's what I don't like about mind tap. I'm sorry. I'm saying that. Okay, and here's another one of bad wording. Say what? Having an accurate picture of the world does not depend on your ability to evaluate how certain beliefs are. Therefore, it is crucial that you distinguish the inferences from the facts and then endeavors to act only on those bits of information that you know are the facts. I think that's bad wording. It's true. Organizing your perceptual experience into belief structures is a thinking process known as cognition. Yes, that is true. Since our perceiving lenses are typically subjective and biased, our beliefs about the world are subjective and biased as well. That follows, doesn't it? Okay. Perception is seeing your senses to experience and make sense of your world. Is using, that must be using. Perception is using your senses. Remember there's 5 of them? Yeah. So, okay, we got another chat. This is so good. I love chat. Your perception is your reality. Exactly. Your perception is your reality. Yeah. And can you change that? Yeah, by looking at all the perceptions. Okay, so this one we just did. Judging is a process. by which we describe the world in ways that we express an evaluation based on certain criteria. Yeah. Reevaluating when you judge. Those words are synonyms. Reinterpret. Poetry enables humans to communicate deep, complex emotion and ideas that resist simple expression. That is the meaning of poetry. Okay? So even if you don't think poetry, I'm playing poetry. Poetry does that to you. Yes, it's supposed to, right? So according to MindTap, that's a fact. You should not use opinions based basic type of beliefs to make sense of the world. Okay? At the most basic level, the concept of perceiving refers to selecting, organizing, and interpreting the sensations provided by our senses. That's true. Our perceptual lenses are a pair of lenses to describe how various people can be exposed to the same stimuli or events and yet have different perspectives and filters that select and shape what we perceive without our realizing it. That's another bad worded MindTap question. There you go. That's true. It's kind of like tongue twisters. Okay, it is a more I'm going to let you read these because it's 21 after. Okay, I'm going to let you read all these. These are in there. And here is, you can do this. It's kind of fun to figure out where you are as a self-evaluation. And our conclusion for today is critical thinkers become aware of their lenses in perceiving and believing, help eliminate bias and distortion that they may cause. I hope you learned a little bit about this today and you become a little bit less biased and undistorted. Critical thinkers become aware of the lens of others to better understand why they see things the way they do. And how is your confidence? What is one area you can build your confidence in? So let's build it in that. With that, I say this is our wrap. These are all mind tap questions. Okay. So with that, you can say goodbye, put it in the chat. It's done. It's over. If you have any questions, ask me, okay? So you're done recording. Have a great week. Have any questions? Yeah, now the chat is going really good. There's 4, 5, 6. We have to get up to 18. Okay. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you chat more next week. Okay. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Zach, if you're still around.